Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing over there? Thank you for always watching the Benjamin Zulu show. Now, most of us have this imagination or assumption that once you get out of a toxic relationship, you're going to be happy and your life will move on as normal. After all, it was toxic. But now today we are looking on the other side of the coin. What if you are hurting and yet you left that toxic relationship? Is it too painful for you to move on, even though you knew that they were never meant to be for you? That is why Benjamin is here today. Hey, Benjamin.
Hello. And you know, there are people who have not yet left because they fear the pain.
Exactly.
They know they should leave, but when they anticipate leaving, some say they feel paralysis.
Look at that.
They feel paralyzed. Some they feel a lot of fear. And some they feel they cling on, but they know this is not where they belong.
Mm-hmm.
They know this is not it. Now, several reasons here. Primarily, any breakup includes a connotation of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're the one initiating the breakup, you came into it because you had hopes. So that hope, losing that hope and that future that you had imagined and that company and that thing that you had envisioned, having to let go of it involves grief, loss, sometimes feeling rejected or dejected the way the person did not change the way you wish them to. Yeah. So even when you are moving out and you're the one who initiated, the fact that you had hopes, you had dreams for it, you had a future, something you are hoping for, is enough to cause a lot of bad feelings. Mm-hmm. The same way finding new love. It's exciting. Losing in love is stressful. Mm-hmm. It's stressful. The moment we use the word I'm in love, a lot of things in our body. The moment you say that, even smile in your sleep. You know? That word love is a way. We are created for love. The one who created us is love, and he created us in his own image. Mm-hmm. You know? People try to convince themselves. They keep saying, I'm pursuing happiness. I'm pursuing my dreams. The one thing that we are made for, the oxygen of our soul, is love. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing that a baby immediately born, they respond to. Yeah. When they have not learned anything. That warmth, that love. Trees respond to care. Mm-hmm. Animals respond to love. We are not saying all of them will return the love back, but it feels nice to be loved. Mm-hmm. And the moment all your body, your system knows that you're with this man, you're with this woman, I'm in love, I love you too. That language, that. There's something it awakens in you. With a lot of dreams. And you know, when people are in love, they become vibrant, imaginative, happy. You can tell a person is in love as they walk on the road. You can see how they are alive, how they are, vibrant and joy as they glow in their face. When we imagine we are in love, even before we know the details of the love, we come excited. And that anticipation that love is very sweet is what makes people jump before they're ready. Mm-hmm. Jump without looking, leap without looking. People know they want to love, but they don't know what type of love is right for me. Mm-hmm. Who do I need to be with? So, why do people feel pain? When you have to now put down all that. Let me remind you, it's possible to be in love with the idea of being in love. Yeah. Just imagine that I'm in love. That imagination, even without the right treatment, the right care, there are people who live for that imagination. Mm-hmm. Just to see somebody saved in their phone is love. Sweetheart. There are people who live for that. It is just so, they're so soaked. It's addictive. That feeling is obsessive. It's engulfing. You need a strong will and a strong mind to know the right kind of love and the wrong one, and to say no to the wrong one. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're saying no when you're not gotten in. Remember I told you how emotions get excited? Your emotions get excited mentally and sexually. Now those are only two ways. You fantasize the person, you think they're the ones, your mind releases all that. And now you're moving that energy, and you think you know you have a lot to do, you have together in the future, and you start imagining. Sometimes you imagine all that and the person does not know. So we are not talking about unilateral crush. Today we are talking about real existing relationships. Are we together?
Yeah.
Somebody is listening to me and going back to their dreamland. About a certain Maggie who does not even give you any attention, is not aware. Why? They've been talking like friends. The way I fantasize a certain girl and thinking we are on the same level, I presented in a romantic manner. And she's right, hey, my friend. I thought we are just friends. So, I'm talking about consciously being in a relationship that you are both of you aware. Okay? Next time you want to find out whether the person is in a relationship, you should also ask for details. Okay. Don't just ask whether you're in a relationship. Ask them, is anybody under the impression that you're in a relationship? And maybe they can tell you, not any that I know of. Because there are many people who have made another one believe that they're in a
relationship.
Yes. Some people have created unilateral tilted connections that helps them to siphon what they want by giving hopes without anything, without performing anything or assurance or anything. But because you, especially people who crash on you a lot, when you crash on a person, you are partially blind. They give you a cramp of attention. You think, wow, you know, you're likely to exaggerate. Now, and I told you when you are young, those crashes are your body testing the engines, whether they are working. All right? When they have many motorbikes or cars in a warehouse, in a showroom, they sometimes ignite them. Yeah. Are they igniting to move? No. The car is in many of them. So it's just checking whether the engine is running. Sometimes your heart is checking whether it is. I got a crush on a girl when she was sitting next to me because of the contact. You know, I can't see her, but I feel in a bus. You know, ladies are smooth even when you are touching her through the cloth. Even if your shoulders are, you feel some smoothness. Even if if the jacket was worn by Brahma, it becomes rough. But when it is worn by a lady, it is smooth. So you imagine you feel gaps and you can't look at her directly like this. So, you build her up in your head. Unfortunately, she alighted. I was hoping when we alight. But now she alighted ahead of me. I have to people don't know her name, don't know. Another lady I had a crush on was a neighbor in secondary school. When you do cross country, I would spot her. I don't know what I was spotting on her, but you notice then you start fantasizing. But I had been helped with advice by my mother that in every environment you go, you as a guy, you like a certain girl. Yeah. She told me to do nothing about it. It's normal. You feel an urge to talk, hug, get phone call, say I love you. You feel the urge, but ignore it. You will not even realize when another one replaces the previous. These are normal. It's your heart doing exercise. Tell children to stop taking these exercises too seriously. These are continuous assessment tests for your body. You know, to get excited here and there. Some of the qualities you like. Now, when you meet a person and you remember there was a time you found them attractive, you feel embarrassed. Because it was based on nothing, just looks. You came to realize, hey, we did not even share nothing. So now, Bramwell, if you had fallen in love and you are not a person in fantasy, so some people are difficult to live because if they drop this relationship, they will have to stop saying they're in love. Now, it hurts because you are genuinely into it. Register that first. The connection is wrong, the person doesn't treat you right, the person doesn't love you back as well, or they have moved on to another person, they have removed their emotions, or they are now changed their attitude, but you sincerely loved them. That's why it hurts, because you were sincere. The next reason it hurts, have you registered that? Yeah. As long as you are sincerely holding, it will bruise you. Even if the person is not holding back, you needed to hold hands, you're the one who's holding them, they're not holding. Yeah. That losing of grip will disappoint you, it will hurt you, because you gave it your all. You'd think when people break up and the relationship was painful, it should be a relief and a celebration. Finally, I'm out. It's usually mixed, bittersweet. It's usually the relief of, finally. But there's also bitterness of, man, the way you had invested, the effort you tried. The second reason we hurt is the things we were told, the injuries we incurred inside that relationship. Some people told you things that it's a demon that will haunt you for a long time.
Yeah.
Because you heard it repeatedly, you're useless, you're not man enough. What kind of man are you? One day I traveled with a girl and she asked me that question and I never traveled with her again. I was dating indirectly. Brothers can date indirectly by asking you to accompany them to a mission. Tell sisters, if they're dating brothers, to be responsive, to respond to these indirect dates. They don't meet for coffee. Brothers have invented their own ways. You accompany them to a fellowship. Are we together? That is a date. Okay? Maybe you date brothers, please be open. They don't like the word date. The proper spiritual Christians. No, don't say the word date. That's quite carnal. Don't say that. It's not quite spiritual, you know. But you can accompany me too. Along the way now you're bonding, you're talking, and he might be a very serious guy. He's simply not exposed, equipped about coffee dates. Don't use that word, you might scare him. Go with the flow. I told you I was uncomfortable with the word boyfriend, girlfriend. I was wondering, what is this about? What does it mean? Where are we? What is that? I said, I will never use it, but I will marry.
And here you are.
Problem. Don't fight over your culturing, okay?
Yeah.
The cultures you come from, man, you may never change them. You don't have eternity, man. Please, some of these roots, too African, too countryside, too this. Please, don't fight with them. Just understand the substance. So I checked the ingredients of getting married. You're supposed to look for a woman with whom you're in the same stage in life, with your same mindset, and you like each other, you love each other, and you marry. Where is the necessity for a boyfriend there? Well, surely. If I got it right. I listened and said, oh. So some of these shenanigans and terminologies are optional, elective. You know, I don't need them. Man, when I realizes the woman I want and we love each other, I bring the engagement ring. Now we are engaged. You can call us. You can say we are courting, or you can say anything. Me, I didn't care about the name. Fiance, whatever. Now we have a wedding date. Don't worry. And I got married. What else? What was it about? Why do people complicate things? I saw this meme, somebody saying, if I update on my status that I'm in Dubai, but as you walk around Nairobi meeting me, my friend, you're also in Dubai. Let's not complicate things. So pick what works for you. Just understand the substance. Forget about the names. So some brethren will date you without calling it date, and they just wanted to interact with you. So this lady asked me, what kind of a guy are you? I was attempting that indirect dating of accompanying me. Now the problem with accompanying is you can't cut the trip in between. If it was coffee date, you could simply end the meeting and go.
Yes.
But now if you want it together, even if you decide this is not the one, you have to stick together until the end of the trip. Now that is the disadvantage of indirect. She told me things that were insulting earlier in the trip. So the remainder of the trip was difficult. Because we are not talking. She already asked me, what kind of a guy are you? And generally I regarded myself as a decent fella. I didn't think myself to be, you know. She wants to insinuate. I disagreed with her assessment. And I decided she's not the one. But now you have to endure the trip. It was quite uncomfortable. Needless to say. So I was visiting a certain church. I'd been invited to speak. And you know, the lady you are trying to talk now, you obviously tell her that you're going, come we go. She comes. As a date. So, and men do like that a lot. In fact, you go to missions in schools and you are looking at the young teachers there. You're looking at which one is, your eyes are open. You know? And sometimes also at work, it works like, you may not always do it properly. Coffee date. So sometimes it hurts because, where you were, where the person were is not the same. You invested more, you're holding hands and it slipped away. Sometimes it also hurts because You had given of yourself before you find yourself. Let me illustrate this. Bramwell, if you do not know who you are has many answers. People keep asking, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? It's a book called Rick Warren, Why on Earth Am I Here? Say the purpose-driven life. You know? That question of who am I is always answered, first of all, by the manufacturer. Are we together? What is the name of this commodity? This is a television set because of the way the manufacturer called it. That's where we always want to try. Yeah. Sometimes it may not be a television set. It may look like a television set, but it's just a screen, a plasma screen. Look at what it is labeled by the manufacturer. Always the first answer to who you are. You get it from the manufacturer. Always go there. You may get this other. Everything comes later. How many other things, how many other identities you want to add to yourself, but always start with who you are. Then go to who you want because of who you are. Are we together?
Yeah.
After knowing I'm a man on a mission, I'm here to perform this and that, I'm divinely ordained, called, my mission, my purpose, my days, my identity is this. I'm here to do this. This is who I am, this is what I have to do. Now you can answer, what kind of woman do I need? In case now you need her, she comes and goes, you are not swallowed in the breakup. Who you are did not include her. That is who you had. But who you are is still here. Yeah. The person you're going to do it with is just who is changing. Breakups don't finish you when you know who you are. You may have let go of the toxic relationship. The relationship was hurtful, destroying you, making you cry every day, it's chaotic, it hurt you. But when you finally still let go, you feel hurt because your identity was in that relationship. When you get into a relationship without knowing who you are, that relationship becomes your identity. Yeah. When I ask you who you are, you tell me, I'm Caroline's boyfriend. That's how you know you're swallowed.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have identity that does not involve Maggie, Mary. You're supposed to have an identity that when you think, and Brahman, when you wake up in the morning, when you're in love, the relationship will excite you. But even without being in love, and when you're in love, when you're not married, when you're single, there should be things about your life that are engaging and exciting, that don't involve your partner. That's how you know your identity is healthy. Okay. There should be things you are doing, things you're studying, you know, conversations and interactions, and there should be another inner life that is fulfilling without your partner. If you don't have that, you are enmeshed, you are swallowed, your identity is in that relationship, and should it shake, should it break, you feel like your inner core has been broken. You can hurt for many years. Have you met those people who tell you about the breakup that happened 20 years ago? Yeah. And they're still stuck there. They had no identity. The relationship was their identity. It broke their core. They did not find who they are before they went into it. That is a blunder that happens so much. And in case you are still here hurting 5 years down the line, did the person carry you? They went away with your identity. That's why you still feel lost and confused. You're still cursing them. Brahma, as I told you, I wish, let's pray. I'm doing all I can to make sure my marriage goes to the end. I'm thinking of the end, the finishing. And I'm praying and putting my mind to it and doing all I can to make sure we sail to the ending. But I told you there are things that can happen uncontrolled. Death can strike. If you do not have an identity, then the partner dies. You die with them. Yeah. We are not saying, oh, die with the partners, do not have identity. But many of them did not realize that love is very sweet, but life is separate from love. You need to have a life. And you need to have a kind of relationship with yourself, with your God, that is independent and deep. Do you spend time away from your partner, and what do you do when you spend it? That's how you know you have another identity, man. That's how you know you can do deeper things and understand things. And in fact, it enriches your interaction with your partner because you have another source you can draw from. You have another passion, materials you are studying, contemplations, meditations. You need to have a separate existence from relationships. When you have that, our relationship becomes very enriching. You will never engulf, pester me with your neediness. Those people who can't sit, they start panicking when you don't call. They don't have another existence. They don't have another life. When we meet, when we catch up, we are very happy to catch. But in between, what are we doing? We are doing shows, another calling we have. You are doing another thing. You do your studies, you this. Even the career, your job is more of a destiny. You immerse yourself so well, you come excited about the experience and the fulfillment. Hey, if you are a teacher, next time let's discuss about this caning. When they remove caning, I told them, you ban caning, they ban schools. It will always be like that. Now, caning was the tool the teacher used to control the students. Now that the teacher's hands were tied and the cane was taken away, teachers have no authority. They are there helpless. The child knows you can't do anything to me. Yeah. So what happened to teachers have thrown up their hands. They have given up. So they just teach and go, teach and go. There before teachers had a goal for their class. The good teachers, of course, which majority I believe are. We have a few elements who will take out their stress on children, and those ones should have been controlled. We don't ban the whole thing because it had its purpose. Yeah. Elements of abuse does not mean you ban the whole thing. We are getting it wrong. When you remove caning, you mean teenagers should use their reasoning now. What do we mean by that? How shall teenagers control their behavior?
It can't happen.
If there is no discipline, there's nothing to fear. How will they behave? How will you? Now, counseling. You are appealing to their reason. A child was locked you out with an attitude and shaking their head there and having their way and their day. How does teacher on duty control school without a cane? Teacher on duty. No, tell me practically speaking.
It's hard. I've been there.
I know. How will teacher on duty make kids run to class? Move away from the dormitory? You're moving out and kids are hiding behind in latrines, under bed. Do you know? Do they know how primitive Africans are? What are they joking with? They're imitating the West. We are joking. We are joking, brother. How does the teacher control stubborn kids? Those who train dogs, sometimes they put an electric shock in the leash that is on the dog's neck. And a dog that has a bad habit of attacking other dogs that are peaceful, attacking other people. Guard dogs are used for their security. They're able to attack who needs to be attacked. But in order to be taught when to be peaceful and when to attack, they have to be taught what is wrong. So sometimes they attack everything. They attack every other dog, every other person. So what the trainers do, they have a dog leash that has a baton. The way he's holding it has a baton. And if the dog jumps at the wrong people, jumps at innocent people, he presses it and the dog is shocked. That shock tells them that is wrong. Teenagers need a shock to know what is wrong. You don't train teenagers by, please don't do that again, you'll be sent home. You see, Bramwell, when you're a teacher, you can't report every case to the deputy or the principal. How many cases will you report? Some cases are minor. They just needed a quick slash and the kid knows that's wrong. Without a sense of fear, you can't control students. I still miss Mr. Mala, one of our guys who used to coach, a very good guy, man, a teacher, physics. And he was also a games teacher, and he would make our school go all the way to nationals. He taught physics, which I hated, and he made me pass. I got B+ because of Mr. Mala. That was Mr. Mala's grade. It was not me. But then he also mocked her. He told, don't worry, that B+ might as well be 46%. The grading of physics is different. He thought it must be 70-something. So, no, grading of physics depends on how people have performed. Yes. We are supposed to use that term. I think something, then you're supposed to put it here, then it rolls as a marble. It rolls, then you time. Mine disappeared. It rolls and went down, and then I'm right. My practical was not quite pleasant. When you're supposed to measure some voltage, mine, instead of going this way, was going the other direction. We had been told if it goes, just alternate the terminals. But I think I was so confused. I don't know what happened in my practicals. Practical has 40%. So, Mr. Mala was known that if he canes you, you will not forget it. So we just knew the reputation of the cane. And we responded to the reputation. When Mr. Mala, whether he's on duty or not, when the bell rings, you're supposed to go to class. But you see, people will drag. If the teacher is around, they don't fear. Others hide, others are sleeping, oversleeping. How do you control? Mr. Mala just needed to stand outside the staff room. That's all. He would just step outside the staff room and everybody is flying to class. I admire that man. He gave something in me that I've never forgotten. He never came to me, by the way, for all those years. Never came. But did I come out with the discipline? Return the cane to teachers so they can have respectability and a sense of fear to students. Otherwise, students will never behave. We are playing the games there. The bell has gone. Other guys are washing clothes. They're in the orchard, fruits there. We are supposed to be in class. People are still in the... They hear rumor that Mr. Mala is approaching. Rumor. If you can even cause a scare, you can just pretend you saw him and he's not there. Mister? And everybody clears to class. Brother, if there was no Kenny, a person like me, and I don't regard myself to be quite a rowdy guy. You are not, I can confirm. Brother, I was a typical teenager. I was typical. And if the caning, the fear of the cane, made me behave, be streamlined, what about these others who already wanted to drink, smoke, sneak, do things? Can you tell our society to stop joking? Yeah. You don't ban caning in Africa. You never move. These kids are already showing us what they will do. The way they are banning schools, they'll ban companies, ban homes, ban buses. They will be uncontrollable. They don't know authority. They don't fear nobody. Yeah. Those kids have no reasoning. It's only emotions. And without a cane, you can't. Teachers are giving up. Have you heard that teachers are resigning? Yeah. They're giving up. Yeah. Imagine that experience of going to kids who are mocking you. How long can you endure that? Who are mocking you? What can you do? What can you do? The teachers who would punish students that time, they were overpunished. They were taken to disciplinary, they were interjected, interdicted, what. And we are not saying it's bad when justice is followed, it's okay. We are not saying, but you're saying removing the system of discipline has made sure that these kids do not know where they go. Now, later on, they come out, and they are in these relationships and they don't know. Because we are not taught to find our purpose. We had a principal who always told us, think about where you'll be 10 years from now. And another teacher in primary school. In every school, you had a teacher who would make you behave. Yeah. These others are also there, but there is one. That principal would appear like a ghost in the window of a class. Yeah. You're talking vernacular. You're supposed to use English and Swahili. Yeah. But guys at night, they're speaking vernacular. Yeah. Because nobody's around. Only to realize he has been listening at the window. And it's embarrassing when the guys who are at the window have already seen him. The rest of you have not seen. And they're trying to signal you. You can't see. And you're still chatting. And the teacher is listening. Quite. It was so embarrassing. Then he coughs. Then there's pin drop silence. Everybody's busy. You hear papers flapping. People opening pages. You could tell who is on duty. There's a time boys started watching pornography. Look at this case and tell me how you can handle it without caning. They came with pornography CDs, they smuggled them into school and started playing them in the social hall. Our social hall was between two dorms. Two dorms, then because there's a space, you put a roof between the space. So one window opens into the hall. So I was in one of those windows that was opening to the... I was the school captain. At that time, I had moved to a cubicle of mine. But sometimes you don't spend in the cubicle. You have a friend you have been chatting, and it's a weekend, it's relaxed. There's a special cubicle for captain, president. But sometimes you talk to your friend until you've dozed off in their bed, and you're just, it's a relaxed weekend, especially when KCSE is nearing, from force, you're not being too monitored too much, Guys came with a pornographic CD, and then it started playing. The principal was doing what he always does, like a ghost, floating around, like a shadow. And enjoying them. They're playing in mute. Pornography. He stood at the door. There was a small door on the other side. They did not sense, they are absorbed. And he marked the faces. That principal had the ability to register faces. So he just scanned. By the time they saw him and left, he had enough list. And in the morning he was calling and picking. And he could scan the assembly and know who is not there. Can you imagine? I don't know how he used to do that. We are 400. Where's Nixon? From 4 West. And surely we did not even know that he is not here. He had such a touch, and he never used to cane that frequently. But when he canes you, you remember it. So, Bramwell, this is my point. Let us return kids to a place where they can have their identity and their calling, their purpose. Where do they get that from? Disciplining, finding who they are. If we don't do that, we reach a point where Even the love relationship is always chaotic because kids never got direction. That direction about your calling, your career is what also becomes now your identity. Apart from who you are in your calling and what God intended you to be, you also decide who you will be in relationship, who you will be as a son, as a daughter, who you will be as a worker. Those things flow from this one manufacturer's definition. And where are they coming from? A core that is separate and is not looking to be attached to a person to know who you are. Yes.
I like that. And Benjamin, what about what we call the breakup anxiety? That is another thing that is holding people back.
Yes, it happens a lot of time. It comes from loss of something you had. You might have heard of separation anxiety. Even when you're not breaking up and you're parting ways with the person for a while, you feel it. You feel that you're saying goodbye, I will miss you. Now, this one is that kind of separation anxiety for good. Do you understand? You're parting for good. It's very difficult to end things. It brings change and some kind of trauma and fear. Am I sure? The anxiety is, am I sure? Is it the right thing? And second guessing. What if? Could you have done better? What if I never fight? What if? So that doubt, questioning, and emotional anxiety and fear, it comes from just that part of breakup. Even it doesn't matter who you're breaking up to, who you're breaking up with, and whether it will be better or it's a right decision. Remind people that the right decision can hurt. You can feel sad after making the right decision because change itself, letting go, releasing is painful on its own. Yes.
And people sometimes, they are so used to this toxicity in relationship to the extent that they have become too familiar with it. So that is the only world they know. So when it comes to moving or cutting off this person, they are very afraid to begin afresh.
And it's true, if you have built a lot with a person or they have become an integral part of your life, when you part, it's like tearing apart. It's like you're ripping apart. But Brahma, always remind yourself that if this thing has become toxic, if I don't let it, we said sometimes we kill things to stop them from killing us.
Yes.
You don't need to hold on to a mistake just because it has taken you 10 years to make it. You've been making the mistake for
10 years.
Always reason in terms of the future. I've gained experience. I'm not starting from zero anymore. I'm starting from experience. I know how to build a business now. I know how to build a relationship now. I know how to obey science now. I know how to communicate better now. I know how to stand up for myself better now. It's not always back to zero. Even if you're losing money or losing time or losing years, it's never back to zero. You can build again and build better because you were engaged, you learned, you are better for it. And don't always say I'm losing everything. No, say I'm better for it. The experience has improved me. Now I can build faster. Yes.
Sometimes you know, Benjamin, that indeed I have to let this guy go. But now, those moments, the memories, the feelings that were good are the one keeping you hooked to this bad guy that you're supposed to get.
In another show, we said that sometimes premarital sex hurts, whether you enjoyed it or you did not.
Yes.
The memories will come. And we said it was meant to be inside sex, inside marriage, so that it is with the right person who you intend to spend your life with. If you have had high moments, good times, and narcissists and people who are manipulative are very good at creating high moments, which you live to remember. I want you to remember that many times what you're remembering are only moments, and your mind exaggerates the goodness of those moments, and it minimizes the pain. Don't let your mind play games on you. Once you've made a decision, when you are sober, evaluated, this is not good for me, execute it to the finality. You learn to force your mind to stop going back, by the way. It's an exercise you need in this life. You can launch out to do a high jump. In between, your mind doubts whether you have really launched well. They limit how many times you can keep on hesitating. You only have 2 trials. The third one you must do. If you don't, you're disqualified. Teach your mind the same. Once you've launched, man, go. You'll never be perfectly sure. It's a habit to develop of decisiveness. I must take the opportunity. This is the time for me to change my life. This is not working, and go. Even if there were good moments, there are, but there are also bad moments that I can't stand. Yes.
That is it. Guys, if you're not dating to get married, you're dating to break up. And some of these breaking up means you'll have to swallow the bitter pill for you to heal. Thank you for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. Till next time.